Hi everyone, this is Gavin from Gavin's Gadgets. This is the iFi Audio xDSD. This is my review. Let's go check this out. So let's take a look at the xDSD. So this won the Best Product Award for 2018 and 2019 as a portable DAC headphone amplifier. It is a very nice piece of kit. It does DSD up to 512. It's got Bluetooth. It's got its 3D Plus and X-Bass Plus sound options. MQA if you're into that stuff through Tidal in particular. You've got high-res audio, as I said. You've got supports DSD 512, PCM 768 kHz natively. It uses the Burr Brown products from Texas Instruments. That gives it quite a nice, from my point, an audio. Its audio sound signature is really nice, bit perfect, handy because it's Bluetooth as well. Has aptX and AAC, USB, SPDIF, optical and coaxial inputs, and the high-res audio streaming. And I will say that whilst you might be ready saying, what about LDAC or aptX HD? Let's put it this way, Bluetooth isn't made equal. On the back, it does go through some more of the features here. So it does talk about the Burr Brown. It's a dual mono headphone amplifier with 500 milliwatts of power per channel, which is absolutely fantastic. So you can do from 32 to 600 ohms, no problem. Does the high-res audio. It's MQA ready, so it's got all that. Obviously, we mentioned the Bluetooth. It's got S-Balance compatible 3.5mm headphone output, advanced analog signal process with the 3D Plus and X-Bass headphone optimization circuits, pure analog volume. That's all that there. Audiophile digital filter, measure, listen, selectable. The battery is 2,200 milliamps. Gives you 68 hours, which is about right. Again, depends how loud and how high a codec or signal you're using through it. It's an extruded magnesium aluminium body with a 6mm machine front plate, and I'll go and show that in more details. Here are some more of the specs, as you can see, in the formats and what's supported. Very handy. And again, looking at some of the various outputs here, you can see that at 600 ohms it can put out 24 milliwatts, well down at 16 ohms it's 500. Plenty of power to power most headphones comfortably, and you certainly don't want to damage your hearing. It's very light at 127 grams. So inside the box you get a very useful instruction manual. We'll look at that in a bit more depth. You also get the unit itself, and we'll go look at that in a lot more depth in a second. There's a little pouch to keep it nice and snug and secure and safe, free from scratches. I like that as well. Obviously, it also had a little cover there which I've taken off because I've had to test it before I've done this actual review, as you'd expect. And in this little thing here, we have a whole host of accessories and cables that you might want to use. And so, if you're connecting it to another device, you've got all these different strips here, and again in the manual it actually shows you how to put the strips on. This isn't quite Velcro, but it's a similar sort of idea. It's actually a much nicer substance. I can't quite remember what it's called, but that is really good. Here you've got your different cables for connecting on the back. So let's just show you here. You have a protective cover over the US port, so when you're plugging various bits and pieces in, and you'll see it has this recessed system, which, there we go. These are special cables, and that's really snug. And notice how as it's recessed, it's not going to, you've got to break it by bending that. That is absolutely fantastic. It's a much safer option. If you're connecting to Apple devices, this is the camera kit, and it's the original one, not the new one, which is the USB 3 version. This is the original one, and this means it's cheap as well, and again recessed in, so that's designed really nicely to work with this Apple connector piece. and then you have all the other adapters that you might need. So I'm going to show you what else you get. So another one there, and so forth. That's for the charging. And then you have a really nice heavy duty one which you plug in here and goes into your computer as like so. All very nice cables, and I really do like the actual aspect of recessing it in. I do think that's really nice. And I'll actually go through that in a second. So you're seeing what's in the box here and everything else, so that's really good. I'll show you the manual at the same time, because I can show you the bits as we go along here. So the manuals, someone's actually thought about this manual because it is really simple. So when you're looking at the front here with the xDSD, it is pretty much identical to what you see in the manual, and it was all very, very clear. So that's your power button. I love the sort of iFi sort of logo recessed into that, and it has different modes, so it can work. It's green when it's wired, it lights up the LED blue when it's using Bluetooth, and it does remember the last where you had it. So you had Bluetooth connections before, it does actually remember, and you can cycle through the connections. You've also have various on the inputs LED. It does sort of indicate what is doing, what is happening as well. And on some of the firmware updates with the MQA, that's slightly different from memory. It talks about the balanced headphone, the S-balanced headphone 3.5mm on the line input as well. So here on the front, looking at the front again, that's where you plug your headphones in, but you can also use that for the line input as well. So you've got options there, and that, you know, you can have line output as well, and it shows you how that works. So you can use this with headphones, or, you know, into a bigger system with power amp and so forth. You've got your button here which toggles through 3D plus and X bass, and you can see it's got the Bluetooth logo as well, because with that, the Bluetooth, it tells you whether, you know, that's on or off as well. And for the pairing, you basically Bluetooth is the hold on that. Works particularly nice. Now the X bass side of things, you're thinking, well, you know, why would you need extra bass? Well, actually on some devices it's pretty flat, and the X bass I quite like on some of the really neutral headphones. It sort of cleans up and restores, provides a much rich, deeper bass without destroying the music. I do like that. I think that's particularly nice. And the 3D Plus recreates the recording's original sound field. That's again, your tests may vary as to what you like and don't like. Personally, I just have the X bass part on. I do like sometimes a bit of bass, but mainly on my very neutral headphones, it does actually help them quite a bit. So on the back, if we have a look on the back here, you've got your various filters as well. Yes, a PDIF input as well. That's your USB Type A, the digital filters. And again, the digital filters just help with certain types of music, and that's available for PCM and DSD. Just got options, and that's your micro USB for charging. Now, just quickly, we just slip to, this is the X-Cam from iFi. It's a portable headphone amplifier, only no DAC. It does have Bluetooth. You can see they use this lovely same build as well. But on this, the one difference now, this is a newer product, it's only just come out, they do actually have a USB connection. So I'm hoping that next time they do this, they do have USB. But what's this actually sound like? Well, I've spent quite a bit of time testing this with a number of different devices, headphones, some easy to drive headphones. So I've used some Sennheiser HD600s. I've also used some Focal Clears. Then I've gone into some Bear Dynamic headphones, and the 250 ohm Bear Dynamics DT770s. And this thing just powers them really well. I've connected this to my laptop, and I've used it for the DAC and then obviously amplifying. I've tried Bluetooth, so I've connected this to my phone, so I can stream stuff if you're using my iPad, iTunes. I can use Spotify, I can use Tidal. You just got quite a lot of versatility. If I just cover the Bluetooth first, so now the one thing is I know that is on the box, it doesn't show that it has the higher LDAC and the aptX HD, but in my view, the actual, despite all that, Bluetooth is not made equal. It just isn't made equal. Bluetooth varies from device to device, and the actual quality of this Bluetooth is very high. It's a lovely sound and way above the Bluetooth that sits on any of the phones that I've actually tested it with. Really good. But you obviously with Bluetooth, you don't have to connect to your phone, you can connect it to anything, computers, whatever. So it just takes away the need for you know, a box of cables and all that stuff if you just want a much cleaner way of doing things. Now, move to the cables, you've got a lot of versatilities. I like the fact that they include so many different extras in the box. That is very handy. In terms of the quality, again, it's just got a nice sort of warmth, musicality to it. So if you're listening to classical, you've got a reasonable sound stage, good timing. I did notice that you could hear the instruments. So they've made a lot of effort in terms of the clarity of the treble and the mid-range. If you're looking at jazz, female vocalists sound really good. So I do like that. And again, if you have a more powerful rock piece, again, it's moving really, really fast, and that did seem to work really well. Obviously, it's got high-res audio and everything else that you expect to go with it. Now, I don't know how they've managed to fit this in such a small little size enclosure, but it does work very well. What I will say is that it is a bit of a fingerprint magnet, so you just have to bear that in mind. It is very lightweight, so portability is very good as well. I say some of my very neutral inner IMs as well work particularly well, as you've got very good control over the headphone here, over the volume. It's very small steps, that does help. And overall, all in all, it's a cracking piece of kit, I've got to say. I was very impressed. I had the X-Can first, and that was my, you know, wow, that really was quite a surprise. And I wanted something also for another system which had a DAC in, and yeah, this is just superb, super superb. I suppose if you were a bit mental, you could stack them, couldn't you? Just put them like so, and they stack really nicely. Isn't that a coincidence? But there you go. This is the xDSD. This is Gavin from Gavin's Gadgets. Catch you guys soon.